What's up, everybody?
Thought you were gonna go live, Jason. You're the MC tonight, right?
Hey, I guess so. I'll be the
I
MC.
like that Zoom shot you just did. Do that again. Ooh, yeah.
Ooh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So, I guess to get started, we're missing a bunch of people. There's some of us that are out sick. I'm here. I'm not in my best. Not feeling the best today, but we're all here. But we wanted to go live and say hey, see what everybody's talking about, see what everybody's doing, and I think some of the people here are going to drop out a little bit earlier because we got some things going on.
Yeah.
Oh, good.
Dom's at Sesame Street on ice, right?
Sesame Street on ice. Yeah, we got some COVID stuff going on.
Yep.
We're having trouble streaming.
Huh. All right.
Well, if we're live on YouTube, you know why we're probably nixing this week. We literally don't know what we're doing without
Dad's not here.
Oh, I'm trying to fix it. View on Twitch.
Jamar's not here. He would be losing his shit with all the computer stuff not working. Yeah.
So this is going to be a wing it episode, as if the rest of them haven't been a wing it episode. So enjoy the ride. We're gonna talk about some stuff, and we're gonna see where this goes.
Do you see my new liquid death? It's bury it alive, and I never know which way to go. They had a BOGO at the store, so I haven't been sponsored yet, but liquid death.
I'm not gonna lie, that LinkedIn ad by them with Brett Kreischer, like every time I see liquid death, like I want to buy it now. I don't know what it is. I hate sparkling water with a passion.
I thought you were going to say every
but
time
I
you
see
saw
it
that,
and I'm like, man, like I just feel inclined to taste it after watching so many people just get roasted by the CEO in the comment section of that bad boy.
It's overpriced sparkling water. That's absolutely true, but they're marketing geniuses.
Does it have a flavor, or is it just literally carbonated water?
The regular in a white can is straight water from the Alps. It doesn't taste any different than anything. And then the black one that I usually drink is sparkling water, no flavor. This is Bury It Alive, which is blueberry, strawberry, very hinty of it. Then they have a green one that is lime and a mango chainsaw. It's not overwhelming. It's not like LaCroix.
You would describe LaCroix as overwhelming?
Right.
I would hate to see you drink real soda. Like, do you just die?
Yeah, I can't drink real soda anymore. I was in things that are addicting. Yeah, that's me. It took me years to wean myself off Pepsi. And I picked Mountain Dew to do that. So it was bad choice. Yeah, it tastes better than LaCroix, but LaCroix makes more sense because it's like $5.99 a case.
How much is Liquid Death? Is it $1 million?
It's like $15 a case or something like that up here.
Yeah.
So you're okay.
Yeah.
But they are tall boys, if that makes any sense. So I mean, you are getting a little extra,
Yeah.
Versus the normal can. And everybody tuned in tonight. It's like, really, like we're talking about sparkling water now. But this the important message was the ad that was captivating because it had absolutely nothing to do with sparkling water, but completely compelled to want to buy something just because of the guerrilla marketing tactics. But yeah, I'm really shocked that you say LaCroix is overwhelming, however you say LaCroix or whatever. If you want to sound fancy with it.
You're right. It is pretty pathetically underwhelming. You're right.
I've heard people describe LaCroix as it's like drinking TV static, or like somebody had yelled the word lemon in a room with water on the other side of it.
It's like somebody opened a can and just whispered lemon.
Yeah.
Like, you're right.
I taste it now. I taste it.
Okay, it is better than that then, yes. And since you saw that one Bert Kreischer ad, are you seeing any more? Because they have Facebook ads now that pop up a lot, and I think LinkedIn or somewhere else I saw one, because their ads are great. They're almost like the liquid or Dr. Squatch ads, or that Old Spice ad with the guy on the half man, half horse.
Oh, okay. Okay.
They're like, you're watching it going, what the hell am I watching here? And then you're like, oh, I get it. It's this overpriced water. So they are geniuses.
No, I actually have not seen any more of their ads. Yeah, I guess I didn't click enough or something like that to get retargeted. You know how that stuff works, but
Like, all I
yeah.
have to do is say it out loud, and I keep getting ads.
Your phone's listening to you.
I know.
You keep spouting around about liquid death, and they're like, "Oh, this guy loves this shit. Let's just keep pumping ads to him."
Literally,
something else
so
we were talking about. Go ahead. Sorry.
no, I was just gonna throw in my 2 cents about being retargeted. We were just having a conversation about what delicious Mexican food that we were gonna have for dinner. Obviously, my partner's Mexican, and I literally then unpaused the browser for my Facebook group because I was gonna go do some admin stuff, and like a group recommendation popped up, and it was like delicious Mexican recipes, like a Facebook group for that. And I was just like, I'm done. I'm done interneting today.
Yeah.
You're listening.
If you're listening,
Always
I hope I win the lottery. I hope you're listening. Does that work like that? You think that'll come
Yeah,
through?
really. I'm like, man, I could use some lotto numbers right now.
Yeah.
Hey.
Not a great transition, but speaking of the ads popping up and how Facebook operates, you probably didn't see it. We have so many in our chat about new marketing and stuff, but how TikTok is making Meta and all the other we already knew this. We've talked about this before, but they're completely changing the algorithm to what they were supposed to be when they first came out about a social network. And now they're letting the algorithm dictate who gets to see what, just like TikTok does.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Oh, as in Facebook is doing that?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I definitely saw that, and I've really noticed that too, especially as I'm scrolling my feed on occasion, because I always like to get a good trying to find some good pictures to feed off of for my Facebook posts, and I know that y'all all love them.
Those are awesome.
But I've definitely noticed a prioritizing towards reels, and I'm seeing a lot more reels show up versus just static posts, which I think is like a huge shift for Facebook in general. It's great for the people that are just want to get out there and create content, and all that good stuff. So I'm all for it. I'm all for it.
The short form creator content. What do you call it, Regan? CUG. What?
UGC.
UGC. Thank you. With the acronyms you throw around, and I'm like, old guy over here. What was your fancy lingo?
There's a misconception though about, and this is something I'm stupid passionate about like monetizing and creating. Like any of the things will work, like any of them. Like if you want to create UGC, you want to connect with brands and create content for them, that'll work. You just have to, 1, create the content, and 2, do the outreach that nobody wants to do. Unless you have a giant following, people aren't just flourishing. But if you want to do it without a following, it's easy per se, but you need to do the outreach, right? Like if you want to do affiliate marketing through your content, you can monetize that. If you want to do drop shipping through content creation, you can do that. There's so many different things you can monetize with. And the key is the content itself, right? It's not any of the other pieces that, everybody thinks is like this one size fits all. Like just create a plethora and figure out what you want to do.
Yeah.
Let's unpack that. What does that mean exactly? Like just create the content. Do you create it based on, well, you're talking about your brand, right? Not necessarily like, I wouldn't create content solely on Liquid Death hoping that I could then outreach, right? It's more your brand, your personality.
Well, I mean, think about how you would outreach to those brands if you wanted to work with them, right? Like my biggest piece of recommendation that I would recommend if I was outreaching to a brand is have something within your story that relates to whatever, you're going to be creating the content about. Now, if I wanted to create it from a UGC perspective, then yeah, you're going to create it for them to post on their platform. And then hopefully, you have some creative freedom in there. But realistically, if you're wanting to post it on your page, it's all about what is that brand going to get from you and why do they have any reason to fit on your page, right? Like, it's the same marketing tactic as you're the piece of the funnel for them. So where is your relation to that story? You could create a piece of content with Liquid Death in it and ultimately reflip it and use it as a piece of portfolio to reach out to them and then figure out how they want it posted.
It's funny you say that, because I did that one post where I found all of the cases in the store and I posted it on TikTok. Regan swoops in at the end and comments, "Hey, Liquid Death, give this guy a brand deal." I'm like, oh yeah, I should have tagged them on that. Didn't even think about it for a second. So thank you, as always. You guys do the brands. You guys are the brand marketers. I'm still clueless.
Well, Scotty, I don't think you give yourself as much credit as you deserve, to be honest with you. Not to get the hype up, but you've got your brand. You know what I mean? It's the relaxed hammock, chill, new economy. You know, your Liquid Death is just a staple, a little layer in that brand, so to speak. So, you know, whether you realize it or not, you're out there creating your brand just the same way as Barb is, just the same way as Regan, and anyone else getting out there, kind of like sharing who they are, and whether it be the entertaining side, the educational side, you know, all that stuff. It's, you know, it is what it is. What I thought was interesting the other day, I actually follow this guy called Ken, the Content Coach. I think that's his name. I think that's his username. Bald guy, beard. So of course I follow him. Anyways, he actually was riding in a car and just drinking a beverage, and it had the label out. Well, the company swooped in, screen recorded his video, and then turned around and repurposed it as an advertisement on TikTok. And he found out about it. He got, like, people notified him. And it was like this kind of outcrying. He kind of called him out for a second, but then he had to take the video down because the comment section was unreal with the hate towards the company, because they basically just kind of, you know, swooped in. And, you know, that's one thing that happens with content creation. People realize is that sometimes those companies will swoop in and steal your stuff in order to, you know, boost their own traffic.
Okay, that's interesting though. What is what's her name? Business by Stephanie. Is that who she is on TikTok? Do you know who I'm talking? She wears the big bolo hats.
I'm not familiar.
But she would have a soda in her, like a little tiny Coke in her hand, I think, in a lot of videos, and she kept getting a lot of comments, and people kept, you know, mentioning it. So that became sort of what she was doing. So, like, do you get mad at the company for taking that guy and making an ad? But he's obviously using that for marketing himself, right?
Well, I think he was just making a video of him just cruising down the street. It wasn't even like an attempt to do a brand deal, because he was like, he was shocked that he had been tagged, and people were basically kind of bringing it to his attention that even happened. It was just so happened to, you know, if you're just taking a swig of Liquid Death and it just so happens to show Liquid Death on the side, and he's got a great following, YouTube. He does a lot of brand deals, so on and so forth. And so it was just kind of one of those things where, you know, a company decided to, you know, jump on the opportunity. Somebody's social media manager for that company. You know, I'm sure the CEO himself didn't come down and be like, let's steal this video, you know, but some social media manager somewhere said, oh, let's swoop in and take this. And now we'll just use it as our own content to push our product.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
You think they're going to be doing that a lot more? Or is that like the fine line where they're going to push it to see what they can do?
I think there's always going to be those lazy people. They're looking for the easy stuff to do, you know. I mean, that's just the way that, you know, the way people are going to work. Like, oh, let me just swoop in and steal this person's video. You know, they may never know, you know.
Is that, I mean, obviously that's unethical, but is it also illegal?
I'd say yes. You have to sign over the rights to your video. You own that creative piece of content that's yours. I think what's interesting there is, as much as cancel culture is toxic, it's also equally great for the narrative for brands that want to do crap the shady way.
Yeah.
You know, that's just fact of the matter. The brands that are willing, especially the small brands that are willing to work with influencers of all sizes or creators of all sizes, like, those are the people that are doing it right, and they recognize the value that is connecting with the audience that is there in front of them, right? Like it's all just, it kind of organically aligns if you do it the right way, but if you don't do it the right way, it's just cancel culture is going to cancel them out, because the same thing is going to happen just like that. Like the brand's just going to get absolutely trashed, and it's going to take a little bit to recover, right?
It's kind of like the opposite is true when you look at it from the perspective of, if you're creating, like if you're the content creator and you're creating garbage content and you're associated with XYZ, you know, whatever acronym brand, you know, then it's like the reverse is true. So like the brand has to be in line with the creator and also their audience and what, you know, what they stand for. But also you, by association, you, the creator, have to be in line with the brand, and like your values have to, you know, kind of intersect, and what you stand for kind of needs to be in line. Otherwise you are shooting yourself in the foot professionally.
I say this about working with brands, and like it's just kind of like remembering the big picture. But realistically, if you work with that brand and you can't get behind creating a lasting piece of content behind it, meaning a blog or a YouTube video or something, and like you can't, if you haven't created something like sustainable, like you're building a community or whatever it is, on the off chance of it, if you can't think of yourself aligning with them long term, they're probably not the brand for you. Because for me personally, when I create a piece of content, I'm not going to, you know, hope it just dies off at my 1,000 views or a few engagements. I'm not doing it just for the money. The idea is to hopefully maybe partner with them for a long-term brand deal or an affiliate partnership, right? Like you can work that into the mix, even if you don't land the long-term deal in that creator portion. So like always think about your big picture and not such of a short-sighted of getting paid. Like even if you get paid now and it's for 5 pieces of content in a month, think about it as, you know, hey, pitch it to them. I'd love to become an affiliate of yours and place it on my blog that I'm going to be writing futuristically. You know, like even if you're not quite there, you can always plan for what's the next step to reach that passive income portion.
Dude, and that is, Thad, you're probably thinking the same thing I am, but like just listening to that, I think the moral of the story is your content is like, it's not just like a standalone, like one piece of content, and no one will ever like see you for just that and judge you alone on just that. It's, I mean, partially true, but it's like the body of your content is like your portfolio, and like it shows a progression, it shows a trajectory. You get to share your story, you get to share who you are, but it's like it is all building towards something, and that something is your personal brand. But that's going to open up all these different doors according to what you figure out that you like, or what you know, figure out, you know, affiliate or brand partnerships or whatever that are mutually beneficial. But I just love thinking of it from the perspective of like you're building a portfolio and not just shitting out content and hoping you're going to make money from it.
And I totally agree with that, because a lot of people don't have that long-term vision, because ultimately, and this is something I tell anybody that's willing to listen to me ramble on to them, is basically, you know, that if you're putting your face on camera and you're creating any content, whether that's YouTube, it's, you know, whatever, Facebook Reels, Instagram Reels, any type of, you know, even if it's static, like just Instagram or Facebook posts, you're building this long-term thing. And the internet never forgets. So yeah, they're going to be able to always dig back up. I mean, just kind of referencing back to the cancel culture, you know, look at all the big name actors and CEOs and all these people that have done just terrible things way back when, you know, it all came crashing down on them later. So yeah, like that is one thing that is completely underrated, is that fact that whether you realize it or not, each and every one of us are creating our own individual brand that's going to evolve over time. I love the portfolio reference as well. And as I do like the chef kiss over here off camera, but it's such a great thing that people need to really understand and embrace that, and don't just chase the quick buck. Even if it, you know, you like Regan said, you get a couple videos for a month and, you know, you're making an advertisement, but maybe that doesn't align with who you really want to be long term. So yeah, no, that's a great message. Even if you're Scotty just hanging out in a hammock, you know what I mean? Like, That's it.
Let that tarnish my image.
Hack your dream life, man.
Yeah. Got to stand in line to ruin that. By the way, it was not that it really matters, but biz coach Sasha was who I was
Yeah.
about.
Okay.
I knew who you were talking about when you started talking about the Coke can. That Coke can actually was a kind of a story placement of hers, I believe.
Yeah.
It wasn't a sponsored post, but so
Right.
many people started commenting about the can that she just brought up the point as a marketer, like you are going to have a natural influence over your audience, right? Like I was on a FUD live a couple weeks ago and we were talking about my animals and I brought up pill pockets, which are how my animals take pills. And just because of that natural conversation based on what my story is, people know that I'm an animal lover, right? Like there's that natural know, like, trust factor because they see it in my content. It's nothing that is the front piece. It's not the front facing. Maybe it's my why. So it's incorporated, but everybody has their vision of what you are. So incorporate your life and figure it out from there. Like that's all there is to it. Do the natural storytelling progression, right? Like even if you work with the brand now and you can't identify with it, in a month, but you can actually justify why you're identifying with it right now. Like, and it's a part of your story or why you're using it, or, like, is it going to be difficult for you to create that piece of content about that? Like, if you don't have a story to tell about it, you're going to probably have some difficulty creating a piece of content.
And I like this one too. Your content is ever evolving, just like good point here, Tyler. And that almost goes, I think we were talking a little bit before we got here with something Regan was talking about, like, what am I going to name my website? Or, if you have a SaaS product, it's the ever evolving thing, right? We kind of get hung up in the beginning of this journey. Okay, what's my brand? What do I stand for? But that's going to evolve, right? Nobody, I think, here started where you are now, and then you've evolved into, we're losing everybody.
Uh-oh.
That's good.
Jason never came back. Reagan swallowed.
We're just like,
Barb was like, I don't want to do this tonight. I don't think we should not do it. And then she's doing the best part here. It's awesome. Winging it. Pirates in the castle. Gypsies in the palace. Something like that.
So you all know, I'm still here.
Are you body snatching Thad? What's going on here?
Yeah.
Wait a minute.
No, I was coughing my ass off and I started getting lightheaded and I was like, I need to take a break for a minute and stepped away.
All right.
and now Dad is doing the same, presumably.
He's petting his cat.
He looked like he had a home invasion. He got swatted. He got swatted, I think.
Yeah. I don't remember what we were just talking about. I was totally going to add something
We were
deep
talking
and
about
meaningful.
You guys were talking about personal brand stuff.
Yeah, your content
off
is
of what Tyler said.
evolving.
and evolving.
Oh, I was just thinking, like, as you were talking, Reagan, that it's like, there's Thad. Thank goodness. Blink
Sorry,
once
I had
if
to
you're
break a cat
okay.
bite.
Blink
I
twice.
thought you got swatted.
Yeah. But it's like you, when you look back on your content, like you were saying, if it makes sense, it's in line with where you are now, who you are now, and you can kind of tell the story as it relates to like yourself, your brand, your business. Like, and it's almost like if you have ever, like if you look back at the people you've dated before, probably some of them are sus. I'll speak for myself. Some of the people I've dated have been sus, to put it mildly. But at the time, it made sense. And honestly, in the trajectory of my life, this girl, Lord knows that I started out doing some sus things myself. But it's like you can see the progression and it makes sense in the context of the story. Do you know what I mean? And so
growing.
Yeah, growing, evolving. But it's like if you just it takes a level of vulnerability to like put your real self, like who you are and what you think, what you stand for, and what you're presenting to the world, like put that real and authentic self out there for people to see and resonate with and hopefully grow with. But if you don't look back on your content from like a year ago and cringe and like think, oh my God, like, and want to private it, but don't, like, are you really a content creator?
I almost did a TikTok about that. Does anybody come across their TikTok on their FYP? It shows up and you're like, I can't stop looking at this train wreck. But it's like, Oh, anybody else? Just me? No? Okay.
Why
I
are
don't
you
think
showing
my
up
own
on your
stuff
own
comes across my
FYP?
FYP.
I don't know. It's like, but I want the algorithm to think that I'm watching it. Like my videos will show up as I'm scrolling. And I'm like, okay, I'm going to let this run out, even though it's very cringeworthy. I don't like watching it myself. And so you guys don't have that? What?
Mm-mm.
Occasionally,
I'm on
mine
my old account and I'll sometimes see my new account or vice versa. No, really. Well, I'm never on my old account, and I don't make content on my old account.
Anybody in the audience had that happen? My stuff Tyler said the same thing. Yeah. I thought it happened to everybody. No?
Huh.
Interesting.
It definitely
Speaking of
happens to me on
stress.
occasion, but I just decided to embrace the cringe of becoming a content creator and just say, hey, you know, I'm always gonna cringe when I watch myself. At this point, it's more or less like you get to a certain point when you've started creating that, like, you're just proud of yourself for putting the piece out there that day.
Very
So
good.
like that's kind of where I've been with my whole like content dump as I'm in. Like, I'm just proud for putting something out today. Don't even care if it's cringe.
This is the best show ever.
What the hell just happened? There's only one cat in there. She did that to herself.
Do you have a pickle in the room?
Not to my knowledge, but it would terrify
Just
both
random
of us.
cucumber hanging out on the floor.
Cucumber
Just-
pickle. Yeah, I don't know
just
what.
throw it- I don't
makes
know.
me
I don't
do
know.
that.
My cats don't get freaked out by stuff like
Oh
that.
my gosh. Well, this is the one. She's not quite all there. Like you could see the deficits in her eyes.
Pet Cemetery.
It's okay. Shh. Hold on. She's growling, so I need to handle.
We're having it's a catastrophe Wednesday night here.
I love it. Catastrophe.
Hey now, Crypto JJ. Coming in from the peanut section, peanut gallery over there, huh?
He is the glue.
Too sick to make it.
I mean, it's true, but like that's just why we're the group of misfits. We're here to just keep floating.
Yeah. Yeah. Like I
You
said,
can't say we didn't try. And, you know, we'll pivot and reformat probably 19 more times before we ever get a groove on this thing.
Yeah. That mean we're targeting. Oh, Scott. Tyler said his shows up on his FYP as well. So does that mean we're targeting our ideal audience correctly if we're seeing our own content? I don't know.
I feel like that's happened before. Yeah, like I feel like I've seen that happen before or heard people talking about it, and it was like a TikTok glitch, like where people's own content was showing up on their FYP, or they were seeing content that they had already seen and already liked, and it was still showing up on their FYP. So it could be maybe, who knows? I mean, we could sit here and speculate all day, like and say maybe TikTok is testing something, or it's intentional or unintentional, but who knows?
Yeah. I myself don't like going down that rabbit hole. I've given up on that a long time ago when people freak out about, you know, oh my God, on TikTok it's happening. It's like, you can't control any of it. So just go with the flow, you know?
Kind of like when your link disappears.
Yeah.
Or people can't see your link. Everyone stop freaking out about it. Like your business, I promise the people who are asking, it's not going to make or break your business.
Right.
You'll be fine. It's going to come back.
Maybe build something that lasts longer than a link in a bio too. But
Say,
you know,
and if anybody here
no one's just just on the hunt to press links, and they're not like, "Ooh, I'm just gonna click it and see what happens."
Yeah, like that high ticket sale you've been waiting for. That wasn't it.
Yeah,
like you're not going from $0 made to -1,000 because your link was not available to click. If somebody wants to buy from you, I promise they will find a way.
Well, how else am I going to make $250 by Christmas? I don't understand.
You know,
right?
You should sue. Honestly, sue TikTok for taking that away from you.
Yeah. And my old insurance hat did come on every once in a while when TikTok or Facebook went down. I'm like, is there going to be business interruption, like for some of the brands or people that do buy ads? Is there some sort of like business interruption clause that they can buy? But then I took my insurance hat back off because it's a very boring lifestyle. So yeah. Never mind. I veered off a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
I heard insurance and I literally.
Yeah, that's exactly it.
It was totally unintentional. I was like, wow, this water looks really, there's something like on the lid. Oh, those are just scratches. Weird. And then I came back and you were like, but I'm just going off on a tangent. That was scary.
That
That
happens.
was like a hypnotic kind of thing that just happened.
Yeah, it's a fascinating line of work.
Hmm.
Not good.
Fam, I'm dropping off early.
Okay.
Peace,
Maybe
love,
just-
Reagan.
and
I hope,
dogs.
I hope that potato chip worked itself out. Take care.
I have a lot of things that I have open tabs upon. I will go
Okay.
down a rabbit hole this
All right.
evening.
All right. Jason's not coming back. He's having a fit. So you have a good one, Reagan.
Later, Gator.
And then there were
So-
3.
Now you and Barb can continue talking about brands. And I will.
Knife fight.
So what other juicy? Scotty has gone full spectator mode.
Yeah. No, yeah. I'm gonna click the banners every once in a while, and there we go.
Just bring up some comments.
We got 2 big brand people, personal brand people. Why don't we talk about personal brands a little bit more and what you can do with a personal brand?
Everything.
Obviously, you can do everything, but I think a lot of people don't understand what everything really entails. Like you guys talked about brand deals, you guys talked about the affiliate marketing aspect, but there's so much more that you guys can do. Like right now, I am going to be creating something with my personal brand, where I am building an e-bike with batteries that I had from power tools doing construction. Okay. And I'm going to do step by step and why I did it, how I'm doing it, and why am I going to spend an extra $1,000 for things that I already have? How am I going to create it? How can I leverage that? Where's the voice coming from?
Pay no
Where
attention
does
to the
it-
man behind the curtain.
Is that better? I figured y'all didn't want to see me like hacking away.
That's why I want you on camera. That's part of the show.
No. But there's so much you guys can do with a personal brand. And if there's something that you guys like and like you're passionate about and you can figure out who your target audience is, I think there's so much you guys can do with a personal brand. Now, obviously I have personal brands and I have non-personal brands and they both have their superpowers. But you're able to pivot from a personal brand way more than you can do from a non-personal brand. Like I have a feminine non-personal brand where I sell bras and a bunch of other things and like clothing and bath bombs and stuff like that. But I can't pivot and make an e-bike from that. I can never make a pivot from my personal or from a non-personal brand. It will never make sense. But for me, because of my history, because of how I've built my personal brand, I can make that that change, that twist. I can, and it's fine because people know my story, and those people who resonate with me are going to follow me down that other path.
Right.
And those who don't, that's fine. I'm still doing other things from the other side of my personal brand.
Yep.
Yeah. Well, I think that's kind of part of it. Like your personal brand is you're just being yourself. You're being a person and you're capturing some snapshots of your life on whatever journey, like whatever the reason is that brings you to TikTok or wherever that you're creating content, you're documenting that part of your life. And that documentation is kind of like the basis, like your content is the basis for showing people your personal brand, showing people who you are. And like to your point, if you start off, you look just like Bob Ross. If you start off and you're pursuing, let's say, an affiliate, like you're a high ticket affiliate marketer, the thing about pivoting is absolutely true because as you grow and evolve, your content grow. Oh my God, sorry. Maybe she doesn't like talking about personal brands. But as you and your content grow and evolve, your target audience, your avatar is going to grow and evolve. And it's going to make sense if you pivot and do something different because people have been watching this. They're on season 3 already and they've seen everything that comes before. And it just makes sense that if you're going to go this way, they can see why. It's not just like, it doesn't make sense for the brand that you've built. People are watching that in real time and they can see if you've gone from strictly doing high ticket affiliate marketing to now you're, going to start doing coaching or build a course or whatever. It makes sense. And so they can stay there for the ride because it's just like a natural progression versus if you have Jason's bath bomb company, it's very set in stone. There is no journey. It's just like a static kind of set in stone brand with its established values and what you're about.
That's a really
put my cat out of the office.
Oh no, why?
So what are some good examples that I think people can relate to for personal brands? Is like, what about like Logan Paul? Was it Logan Paul or was it his brother that started off on YouTube and creating that type of YouTube content and then went to fighting and then went to...
I think that's Jake Paul.
Jake.
Maybe it is Jake Paul.
Jake's the better one. Jake's the better fighter. He's the one that gets more notoriety. They both fight.
Yeah, they both fight.
Logan's just not nearly as good.
I don't really pay attention.
His little brother,
I don't pay attention to either one of them really. So
Neither do I.
I can't tell the difference between them. So, but I know a little bit of the backstory of how they built that personal brand, and he's able to pivot from I'm a YouTube star to I'm a fighter.
Right.
I'm not a fighter anymore. Now I'm a what is it? They're doing podcasts and stuff and talking about crypto and NFTs and stuff.
Yeah.
Any update on how the capture card purchase went? Has he tried it out? I have tried it out. And when I set up my green screen and I figured out how to put myself in the corner and broadcast it, I can test it out if you guys want to see.
What is it? What?
I'll show you. Just talk amongst yourselves for 5 minutes.
Well, I think
he's working that out.
Jake and Logan both. I mean, think about how they pivoted to the fighting part. They were right down the middle. People hated them or loved them. So how hard was that to transition to, hey, I'm going to fight somebody? And everyone's like, yes, on both sides are like, I want to see my boy beat up the other guy, or I can't wait to see him get smashed. So it was almost a perfect storm for those two. Obviously, they know the personal branding and the marketing, and they're really smart at that, but it wasn't a leap. It's genius.
Yeah, it was. I mean, and to piggyback on that as well. I mean, that's a great example of being able to pivot to all kinds of things, from the Pokemon collecting, the crypto investing, all those different things that make him up, and all the different layers of what builds his personal brand. It all started with like a singular personality. Right. You know what I mean? The same thing. Another great example, and this is one that I use this reference a lot because he's a perfect example of it, was, The Rock, Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson.
There you go.
Started as a football player, just known as an athlete, got into wrestling. Everyone knew him as The Rock, and some people loved him, some people hated him. And then when it came time, he decided he wanted to do movies. Okay, well, he still had a large following because he stayed consistent. He showed up. His presence on social media, sharing his journey, sharing that personal side, his love for fitness, his love for athletics. And then when he decided he wanted to pivot, he still had a large following that followed him right behind him when he went to do movies. And now he's able to pivot into athletic gear, brand deals. He's got his own tequila brand now. All this stuff
coming out. Black Adam's coming out. He
he's one of the biggest movie stars right now. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Kevin Hart, started with comedy, and now he's can basically do whatever he wants. And it goes on and on. I mean, the Kardashians. Let's be real. Like, that's like the pinnacle of personal branding right there. They didn't do anything crazy and famous. They just showed up. People either loved them or hated them, and they didn't give a fuck which one you were. And they just were authentic to who they were. And now they can start clothing lines. They can start perfume companies. Hell, they could start a freaking cat food business if they wanted to. And it'd probably sell out in minutes.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Another great example, it was on the tip of my tongue. I just can't remember who it was. But yeah, I mean, and that's I think that's the one thing that people forget when they think about personal branding. They think it's just business. But we are not Coca-Cola. We are not Walmart.
There you go.
You know what I mean? All they do, all these companies and all these big actual brands, these corporations are always looking for spokespeople. They're always looking for people to build that connection, because people connect with people. So when you're able to just show up unapologetically, even if your business portion of your brand is very niche at the time, it can evolve into anything you want as long as you show up as a fucking human being rather than just like, hey, buy my shit. You know?
And I think about that more when I'm listening to Gary Vee, and the one that I duetted with him, and I'm sure a bunch, millions of people did too. He had a tremendous point to me is like, what about the kid or, somebody my age who's happy making 60 grand a year?
Right.
They've branded themselves with their following of people that like what they do. So when we say branding, it, like you said, doesn't have to be Coca-Cola or Amazon. You don't have to compete with them. You get your own following, you brand yourself, 60 grand, then double it, 120 isn't that, it's not unrealistic to think you make 60, you can double that and just go from there. And that might be as much as you want. That'll make you happy to have a life that you just want to do whatever. So in this creator age that we have, I think that's definitely a path that people should look at when they're talking about branding themselves. I didn't quite catch that when you guys, went out there and started talking about branding. I was always like, I didn't get it, even though I talked to you guys enough. It really took me a while listening to more and more to understand you weren't talking about the Coca-Colas of the world. So,
right.
Yeah.
And that's, I mean, and not to, beat a dead horse or anything, but I mean, I feel like that's what a lot of people struggle to really visualize is they think that their brand is just their business, but no, like, Scotty's a dad, you know what I mean? He's an ex-Ranger, those are layers to what makes him up. He's a Floridian who just likes to take it easy, hang back in a hammock, kick back, drink some liquid death. That's his jam. That's what kind of, a few layers that define who he is. And that may evolve over the next 5 to 10 years into other things. It could evolve into course creation, digital products. Hell, I mean, he may even launch his own sparkling water one day. Who knows? You know what I mean?
That'd be awesome.
But you have that flexibility
Right.
when you just show up as you and just be like, you know what? I'm going to try this out. Crypto JJ makes a great example in the comments of, if you're not evolving, you're doing something wrong because we as people are going to evolve as the years pass. We're going to like different things. We're going to look at things differently and be like, oh well, you know what, I'm gonna try to go do a Airbnb or I'm gonna launch a digital course on how to create a NFT or whatever your thing might be, as you evolve as a human being.
Right.
I just
who knows?
realized
Maybe me and Barb will team up and launch our own cat food product. Who knows?
It would be the best ingredients. Let me tell you too. There are about 10 like outside. They're my outside cats, but I have like 10 of them out in the back that I've started feeding. There needs to be like a high quality wet food that you can feed to your outdoor cats that you've adopted from the neighborhood that are not actually yours. So yeah, I think that day should come soon.
Is that your next brand deal? Is that your next as you evolve? Creating that?
Hint.
Yeah.
Somebody hook this lady up because I mean you're so true. I've been dealing with, not to transition into cat food conversation, but
More cats.
I've been dealing with like massive cat food problems for just my indoor cats with special like health concerns and man, it's really tough finding something that they'll eat and that it's still high quality.
Plus, there's a damn shortage everywhere. I was shocked that you go to some of the stores and I'm like,
everything. Cat food, baby formula.
Okay, since you're in this niche or this arena way more than me, I ask the people at Target and wherever I go sometimes, and they're like, "Oh, it's because there's a shortage of aluminum foil," and I'm like, "What? Aluminum? Like in the packaging? It's not necessarily the food; it's the packaging part of it." No, that's not what you guys are being told.
I feel like that. I find that hard to believe.
So do I. Me too. I don't know. What did was Jason just streaming like World of Warcraft or something? What was going on?
I think he's about to test out his capture card for the gaming, the Misfits gaming night.
I think because I was originally streaming with my my camera on here, it blocked it off, so I can't put my face on the screen too. I'd probably have to exit and come back to make it work, but I definitely had it working. So yeah,
Hmm.
Oh yeah, that's a little Red Dead.
a little Red Dead.
Yeah. Little Red Dead.
Red Deaded stepchild.
Yeah, I'm a bad dude.
Oh man, that takes me back to playing Call of Duty when I was in college. Dude, we were obsessed. I was pretty good, I'm not gonna
Wow.
lie. But this was on PlayStation 2. And this
You had
was
like a headset, Barb, a visual, this whole thing, like a headset and a bunch of tab and cigarettes and like late nights. I can just see this.
Cussing
Oh,
out little
man.
teenagers online.
Tab
Oh,
and
yeah,
a
take
whiskey
that, you little
bottle or
motherfucker.
something.
No, it was me and like 4 or 5 friends. We would play just at our house. There was yeah, just a lot of alcohol involved.
Yeah.
Those were the
My
days.
my roommate in battalion would play Doom
Mm.
all night. He wasn't always on PT or on sick call. He was hurt a lot. He hurt himself. I can still sometimes hear the roar, roar, in my sleep because he would play that all freaking night. Trigger warning. I can't do video games. My kids drive me nuts. They want to play all the time, and I lose. I can't. I have nothing because I had Atari, so we had the
Frogger.
Yeah, that's all we had. I had
Strawberry shortcake. Dude. Yeah, I was just talking about Atari the other day. I was like, the video games now look like more real than real life. And then back in like Atari was like 8-bit strawberry shortcake. What
the
was
jungle
that?
thing? The jungle one where you would swing the vine over the
Like
alligator trap?
Pitfall. I think it was
Pitfall. Yeah,
called.
Oh, I played Frogger strawberry shortcake. And what was the Space Invaders? That's, where
Okay.
you're
Yeah.
shooting and it's like 2 pixels, like
Mhm.
bullets or whatever coming out of the space.
Those
ship.
were the best. Yes. Yeah.
And now it's like virtual reality. Like you're deep in some, I've seen some stuff lately where it drives. It's like, man, I'd probably throw up if
Yeah.
Mhm.
I've tried virtual reality, like roller coasters, and like even says, if you get sick, just stare at this dot. And it was like, I've never been motion sickness in my life, but doing that virtual reality stuff, I literally almost hurled in my bedroom. So
Dude.
yeah.
That's like, remember when Blair Witch came out in the theaters and they had to have I remember in Fresno, it was like the new theater that had just opened and they had to have trash cans like all over the theaters because people were like going and barfing because of the motion and stuff.
Yeah.
Mhm.
The way the camera was.
Yeah.
Good times. Good times. Yeah. My kid
Those were the days.
my kid tried an Oculus last weekend and she was like leaning over. So it's so weird to watch. Like I won't do it, but she was so immersed in it that she thought she was going to fall down, and it's just weird. It's like, really? You don't know where you are? It's so weird. Here, you try it. No, thanks. Not going to do that.
I feel like I would injure myself. Like you see the TikToks of like the dad and he's like turning and flails into the wall and breaks the TV and stuff. That would be me.
Oh yeah, I've seen those are actually pretty hilarious to watch.
And now we bring you Bob Ross plays Red Dead Revolver.
Red Dead Revolver.
Now, is this live on Twitch too? Because even though I'm getting the error message that this isn't going out on
Twitch is still working. I just tested Twitch. It's working fine. Oh,
Yeah, we've got some comments from Twitch, so it's got to be working.
That's weird because it's still got a message box here that says it's whatever. I'm glad. I hope it.
Well, yeah, now you're getting the best of both worlds. You're getting a little, random marketing knowledge, maybe some catastrophes, and a little bit of Bob Ross plays Red Dead Redemption.
I would say walking out of Cloverfield just because it was a horrible movie, but I understand what you're saying, Sid Highway 7. That was just a bad junk movie. You're still live on Twitch. Good.
Ew.
Sweet.
Was that a horse?
Mm-hmm.
no, I think it was a cougar.
Nice headgear.
I mean, it tried to kill me, so it was either kill or be killed.
Oh, the horse is right there. See, this is how rumors start. I looked away for a second. I was like, oh my God, he just skinned that horse, but no.
So
He's riding the horse, skinning the other thing. Got it.
So the answer to his question is, yeah, I got it working.
what's the point of this game? Is it like, I don't know, a first-person shooter game or something?
This is a whole story game in an open world, and you got to decide whether you're a good guy, a bad guy, or what you want to do. I mean, there's a whole story about on how to survive, and are you going to be a good guy, bad guy? And you got to do everything. You got to hunt. You got to look for your own food. You got to cook your own food. You got to get weapons. You got to do everything. It's a very, very, very involved game, and I'm trying to complete it to 100%. It is.
That's interesting.
It's very in depth. I've played that game before, and it's a long. I think it's like the third or fourth one in a series from Red Dead Revolver. I think on PlayStation 1, and it's evolved into quite the storyline. But yeah, it's a complete world immersion. It's one of those like you could get sucked in, and before you know it, it's like 18 hours later, and you're like, oh my god, like what just happened in my life?
Yeah, to get to this 99% complete, it's probably 300 hours.
Is that like an apocalyptic Wild West thing you're on there, or is it just? I mean,
Apocalyptic? No, not apocalyptic. That's just.
Where'd you get the
Just
ram
Wild West.
headdress? Just
I just picked it up from somebody who did like some tribal ritual thing, and they put it on some dead dude. So I took it off of the dude.
nice, nice. All right.
Yeah.
So if anybody wants to play you, do you play other players with this thing? I don't understand.
You can do online.
How old am I? Well, how does this work, Jason? So,
What are these crazy images on the board?
oh my gosh, he looks
Who
hell.
is that? Who is he?
Who am
Where'd
I?
he get that horse? Well, I remember when I rode a horse.
Wow,
Where's
those
he
train
riding
tracks.
to?
The year was 1937.
Once Truman came by on a train track during the presidential elections.
You just got to take your horse through these happy little trees.
Can Tyler and people like this play you on Twitch or with you, or like do
You
get-
could. If I did the online version, you absolutely could.
Oh, you're not online?
I'm in story mode only because I'm trying to finish the story and all the side missions and do everything that you can do in this game to 100%. And I've been trying to do that since the damn game came out. Like I got the very first copy when it came out, and it's a lot. And when I had COVID, the first time, I spent a lot of time messing around. I tell you what, though, trying to do this with these glasses and this hair, it ain't working.
Huh.
The hair looks more real than your real hair
Yeah.
somehow.
Isn't that
Like,
crazy?
it just is. It fits.
Yeah. So I have a whole list of stuff I still need to do, and I just like maybe 20 minutes a day. It's like my decompression. I work on one thing on my list of the knockout, but think about how much more I could have done. But I mean, it is fun.
Yeah.
But I wish at the time when I started playing that I was able to do more things to monetize my business and stuff like that, because it was a huge waste of time. But at the time when I was in bed rest for 3 months and I really couldn't move, it was lovely. Mark.
What's up?
I don't know. Somebody said your name.
I know.
Mark.
Why did you say it like that?
Because that's
How you read that?
Mark.
Mark. Creeper. Oh, man.
Tell me how you really feel.
I mean, all right. Well, I think for me, this might be a good stopping point in the convo. I'm so impressed with this, sustaining this conversation for an entire hour.
Well, you were on, and so I'm just going to bring this up anyway, because someone has mentioned this offline before about, they like the show and everything. I'm like, you have no idea. 15 minutes before they start, it's just like gangbusters. It's hysterical. And then sometimes we get on and everyone's like, so this was a fun night, and I'm happy you guys enjoyed it. And we did it. Dom, come back soon. Jamar, feel better. Jason, feel better.
Yeah.
Love your name. Are you going to keep that name? Is that your branding?
What, me? Oh, yeah.
McGowan.
Love it.
Yeah, it's my real name.
Love it.
I never realized how close McGowan is to McMeowan. But I'm glad I figured it out. That could be the cat food name.
All right. Well, thank you, everybody. Chris, thanks for showing up. Thanks, everybody. Kyler, all of the other names. Sid, Crypto. Oh, yeah.
Crypto JJ is in. He said I'm in. So
yeah, he's in. And until 2 weeks from now, we'll be back. And hey, there you go. The man in the high castle. So yeah. Anybody else? Anybody want to say goodbye? Anything? Parting thoughts? Shots?
Goodbye.
Bye.
peace.
Peace. Y'all have a good night.